Hello, welcome to the fourth week of Hear My Son. It's from Daniel Estes. So we're going to talk about the fourth chapter today. The fourth chapter is called Curriculum for Education. We have to keep in mind that we are Christian educators, and because of that, we are teaching not only how to make a living, but how to live in wisdom. Our curriculum is typically given to us, but we have a larger curriculum from God. Needs to be included in our curriculum that's given to us from school. Proverbs and wisdom literature does not really teach much about Israeli or Israelite history, okay? That's done by most of the other older books, the Old Testament. But it's mainly expressing the truth and how we deal with the endless problems that we face. So, in the book, the curriculum for education is organized into three categories. The first is observation. Observing nature speaks of God and his creation. Proverbs mentions that an ant, of all things, in nature, has no ruler. It has no guide. It can't read. It doesn't have instructions, and yet it gathers and it stores for winter, and that's by God's design. And speaking of nature, I have a favorite. I have a lot of favorites, but Romans 1:20, I will read to you. It says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that the people are without excuse." So we have lightning, tornadoes, storms, high winds, everything else. We learn from experience that from seeing and observing what it does. And then we take action to do something differently. We also observe other people and learn from their mistakes and their successes. The second is called tradition. There's a large body of knowledge in tradition. Although the worldview of Solomon at the time was from Jewish experiences, they also knew God's Lord over all of the world. So they did and can incorporate the Gentile cultures into their teaching. For instance, three wise men, they're from Persia, had nothing to do with Israel. The term, like in this book called My Son, is from Egypt. And Solomon was well versed on the culture of Egypt. Tradition and teaching also came from the mother and the father. So in Proverbs 1:8, we see, "Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching." Most education was what we now call homeschooling. And the final was revelation. Some knowledge is not observable. It's revealed by Yahweh. He's the ultimate source of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. His knowledge is unfathomable and everlasting. So we must trust with all our heart and do not rely solely on our own understanding. I spent years trying to read the Bible unsuccessfully because I was doing it on my own understanding. It didn't work. It failed. I didn't know what to do. So I had somebody advise, pray to God and ask for the Holy Spirit for guidance. And I got it. And all of a sudden the world opened for me and I understood his word. I will never fully understand it, but that's a revelation from God. His own word is. Another example of revelation is creation. We have nobody that's observed it, okay? We debate about it, what happened, and so on and so forth, but the true account's found in Genesis. Creation is a component in the curriculum for education because we know it's only revealed through revelation. So going back to the first two, we cannot rely solely on observation and tradition. We must trust God in his revelation, through his word, and through his guidance. So we can use, as educators, Proverbs 1-9 as the content base or the curriculum for education. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.